Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly risked it all? When was the last time you stepped so far out of your comfort zone that you felt like the ground beneath you was disappearing? That moment, right there, is where greatness begins. I've learned that the people who make it in this world aren't the ones who tiptoe around risk. They're the ones who run toward it, arms wide open, ready to take the leap, even when the safety net is nowhere in sight. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience, and for most of us, it is something we try to avoid at all costs. It creates doubt, hesitation, and the nagging voice in the back of our minds that tells us to play it safe. But what if we flipped the script? What if instead of running from fear, we used it as fuel? What if instead of allowing it to paralyze us, we allowed it to propel us forward? The truth is, fear is a signal. It's an indicator that we are standing on the edge of something significant. It means we care. It means that what we are about to do matters. If there was nothing at stake, we wouldn't feel fear at all. The presence of fear isn't a sign to stop, it's a sign to pay attention, to lean in, and to recognize the opportunity in front of us. The people who achieve extraordinary success aren't fearless. They are simply willing to act despite their fears. Think about it. Every great innovator, leader, artist, and change maker has experienced fear. They have doubted themselves, questioned their abilities, and wondered if they were making the right choices. But what sets them apart is that they didn't let fear dictate their actions. They used it to sharpen their focus, to heighten their awareness, and to drive them toward their goals with even greater intensity. When we acknowledge fear without letting it take control, we turn it into an asset instead of a limitation. Fear is often rooted in uncertainty. The unknown makes us uncomfortable because we can't predict what will happen next. But the irony is, the greatest moments of growth and transformation happen in the unknown. When we push past fear and step into uncertainty, we discover strengths we didn't know we had. We find out what we're capable of, not by staying in the safe zones of life, but by taking bold steps into the unfamiliar. It's in those moments that we become more than we ever imagined. Some of the best opportunities in life will present themselves wrapped in fear: a new career move, a business venture, a creative risk, a personal challenge. Each of these things carries uncertainty and the potential for failure, but they also carry the possibility of success, of growth, of impact. If we let fear make our decisions for us, we miss out on the experiences that could change everything. The key is learning to feel fear and still take action. The way we respond to fear is a habit, and like any habit, it can be reshaped. The more we push through fear, the more comfortable we become with discomfort. What once seemed terrifying becomes familiar. What once held us back becomes something we know we can overcome. Fear, when embraced, becomes a tool for progress rather than a roadblock to success. Every time we allow fear to hold us back, we reinforce its power over us. But every time we move forward in spite of it, we take back that power. We reclaim control. We shift from a mindset of avoidance to a mindset of possibility. Fear loses its grip when we stop seeing it as an enemy and start using it as motivation. It sharpens our instincts, makes us more resilient, and pushes us to strive for something greater. Fear in its rawest form is simply energy, and energy can be harnessed. It can be channeled into determination, into preparation, into the courage needed to take the next step. Fear doesn't have to be a barrier. It can be the very thing that drives us towards success. Failure is often seen as something to be avoided, a sign of weakness or defeat. Society has conditioned us to believe that success is about winning every time, about getting everything right on the first attempt. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of it. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, and every remarkable journey has been paved with failures. It is not about whether we fail. It is about how we respond when we do. Failure is not the end of the road. It is a stepping stone to something greater. When we experience failure, it is easy to feel discouraged, embarrassed, or even ashamed. We often question ourselves, wondering if we are good enough or if we should have even tried in the first place. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if, instead of seeing failure as a sign to stop, we saw it as proof that we are pushing our limits, that we are stepping outside our comfort zone, and that we are daring to chase something bigger than ourselves? If we never fail, it means we are not taking big enough risks. It means we are playing it safe, staying in a space where there is no challenge, no discomfort, and ultimately no growth. Some of the most successful people in the world have failed countless times before reaching their goals. Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors of all time, failed over 1,000 times before successfully creating the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he simply said he didn't fail. He just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That mindset is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up too soon. They understand that every setback is a lesson, every mistake is an opportunity to improve, and every failure is one step closer to success. Failure teaches us things that success never could. When everything goes right, we rarely stop to analyze what worked, why it worked, or how we can improve. But when we fail, we are forced to reflect, to learn, and to grow. It teaches resilience, patience, and perseverance. It forces us to develop problem-solving skills, to become adaptable, and to build the kind of strength that can only come from experience. Every great leader, entrepreneur, artist, or athlete has failed at some point. But what makes them successful is not that they avoided failure, it's that they embraced it, learned from it, and kept moving forward. One of the biggest reasons people fear failure is because of how they think others will perceive them. We live in a world where success is often glorified while failure is hidden. We see the highlight reels of others' achievements, but rarely hear about the struggles they endure to get there. This creates an illusion that success happens effortlessly, when in reality every success story has its share of disappointments, setbacks, and failures. The difference is that those who succeed refuse to let failure define them. They understand that stumbling is not the same as stopping. The path to success is never a straight line. It is filled with twists, turns, detours, and obstacles, but each failure along the way builds character, teaches valuable lessons, and strengthens the foundation for future success. The key is to not let failure break your spirit. Instead, let it fuel your determination. Let it remind you that you are trying, that you are learning, and that you are on your way to something greater. Failure is not a sign to quit. It is a sign that you are in the process of becoming the person who will one day succeed. In a world where conformity is often celebrated and fitting in is seen as the ultimate goal, it takes courage to stand out, to be different. From an early age, we are taught to follow the crowd, to adhere to societal norms, and to blend into the background. We are conditioned to believe that being like everyone else is the safest path, that if we follow the prescribed steps, we will find success and happiness. But what if the real key to success lies in daring to be different? What if, instead of following the crowd, we paved our own path, even if it meant going against the grain? Being different is often misunderstood. It can be uncomfortable, even lonely, because it requires stepping away from the familiar and embracing the unknown. It means that you might face criticism, rejection, or ridicule, but it also means that you have the opportunity to create something unique, to offer a perspective that no one else has, and to make a mark on the world in a way that only you can. When we dare to be different, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility. The most groundbreaking ideas, the most transformative innovations, and the most inspiring leaders have always been those who refused to conform. They understood that to create something truly extraordinary, they had to step away from what was expected and venture into uncharted territory. The Wright brothers didn't invent the airplane by following the same paths that had been taken by countless others. Albert Einstein didn't become the world-renowned scientist we know today by adhering to the traditional norms of physics. They all dared to see the world differently, to challenge the status quo, and to think outside the box. But being different doesn't always require a world-changing invention or a groundbreaking discovery. It can be as simple as choosing to live authentically, embracing your quirks, and staying true to who you are. Too often, we shrink ourselves to fit into the molds that society has created for us. We suppress our uniqueness, our passions, and our ideas in order to gain approval or avoid judgment. But when we deny our true selves, we deny the world a chance to see our full potential. Daring to be different also means being willing to fail. When we take risks, when we step outside of the conventional, we expose ourselves to the possibility of failure. It's a scary thought, but it's also an essential part of the process. If we never fail, it means we are never pushing ourselves hard enough. If we never make mistakes, it means we are not taking enough chances. Singaporean. In order to create something meaningful, we must be willing to fall, to learn from those falls, and to keep moving forward. The more we embrace failure as part of the journey, the more we realize that it's not a reflection of our worth, but a stepping stone toward growth. Sometimes being different means standing alone. It means not following the trends, not chasing after the latest fads, and not doing something just because everyone else is doing it. It requires the strength to trust your own instincts, to follow your own path, and to believe in your own vision, even when it seems unconventional or risky. It takes a kind of bravery to stay true to yourself when the world around you is encouraging you to blend in. But that's exactly where the magic happens. When we have the courage to be authentic, we inspire others to do the same. We create a ripple effect of individuality, and in that space, true creativity and innovation can flourish. Daring to be different is not about being rebellious for the sake of it. It's about embracing your individuality and refusing to let societal expectations dictate who you are and what you can achieve. It's about recognizing that the world needs your unique perspective, your voice, and your contributions. It's about knowing that the path to fulfillment is not found by following the crowd, but by forging your own way. When you dare to be different, you don't just change your own life, you have the power to change the world around you. Your story is yours alone. It is made up of all the moments, experiences, challenges, triumphs, and even the failures that have shaped you into who you are today. Yet, far too often, we allow others to define our story for us. We let societal expectations, the opinions of others, or our past mistakes dictate who we think we are or what we are capable of. We give away our power by letting others tell us how we should feel about ourselves, how we should live, or who we should become. But to truly live a fulfilled and authentic life, we must own our story. We must take control of the narrative and write the next chapters with purpose, intention, and pride. Owning your story begins with embracing who you are, where you come from, and all the parts of you that make you unique. For me, personal responsibility is a lifelong journey. It means accepting both the highs and the lows, the successes and the setbacks, and the beauty and the flaws. There's no shame in the struggles we've faced. In fact, those challenges are often what define us in the most powerful ways. It's in our moments of pain, heartbreak, and failure that we learn the most about ourselves. It's through overcoming those hardships that we gain strength, resilience, and wisdom. When we own those parts of our journey, we stop hiding from them and instead allow them to fuel our growth. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we have to be perfect. Social media, television, movies, and even our own families often show us a version of success that doesn't acknowledge the difficult moments behind the scenes. We are constantly exposed to highlight reels of other people's lives, and it's easy to feel like we are falling short. But the reality is that everyone's journey is messy. Everyone has struggles they don't share, challenges they don't post, and setbacks they don't broadcast. It's okay not to have everything figured out. It's okay to make mistakes. What matters is how we embrace those moments as part of our story. Owning your story also means not allowing others to define your worth. Too often we place our value in the hands of others, whether that's through the approval of family, friends, colleagues, or society at large. But no one else has the right to determine your worth or your potential. You are the only one who gets to decide what you're capable of and what you want to become. The opinions of others don't define who you are. Only you can do that. And once you realize that, you free yourself from the pressure to meet other people's expectations and allow yourself to pursue your own dreams and desires. Another important aspect of owning your story is recognizing the power of your voice. We often hold back from speaking our truth because we're afraid of judgment or rejection. But the world needs your voice. Your experiences, your perspective, and your story are unique, and by sharing them, you give others permission to own their own stories too. When we speak from a place of authenticity, we inspire others to do the same. We create a space where vulnerability is welcomed, where mistakes are not hidden, and where we can all be our true selves without fear of judgment. When you own your story, you become the author of your life. You stop letting circumstances or other people dictate the direction you take. You take responsibility for your past, your present, and your future. You understand that your story is still being written, and the chapters yet to come hold endless possibilities. Every choice you make today can shift the narrative of tomorrow. By taking ownership of your life and your journey, you regain control over your destiny. Owning your story also requires forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. We all carry baggage from our past, moments we wish we could erase, decisions we regret, or things we wish we had done differently. But carrying that weight doesn't help us move forward. It keeps us stuck in the past. By forgiving ourselves, we free up emotional energy to focus on the present and the future. We release the shame, guilt, and anger that may have been holding us back and create the space for growth, healing, and self-love. In life, we all face moments that challenge us, times when the road ahead seems too steep, too uncertain, or too difficult to continue. It's during these moments that the temptation to stop, to give up, or to turn around feels overwhelming. But the key to success, growth, and fulfillment isn't about avoiding these challenges. It's about pushing through them and keeping moving forward, no matter how tough the journey may seem. The ability to move forward, especially when it feels like the world is pressing down on you, is one of the most powerful traits you can develop. It's in these moments that you discover what you are truly made of. Life isn't a straight path, it's a series of twists, turns, obstacles, and unexpected detours. At times, it can feel like everything is against you, like every step you take is met with resistance, and no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to make progress. But this is when the true test of resilience begins. When you keep moving forward in the face of adversity, you don't just endure, you evolve. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a step towards something greater. Even when the progress feels slow, even when you stumble or fall, you are still moving toward your goal. When you feel stuck or overwhelmed, it's easy to get caught in the trap of perfectionism. We often think that in order to succeed, we must have everything figured out, everything in place, and every move planned perfectly. But the truth is, you don't have to have everything figured out to keep moving forward. Sometimes the best way to figure things out is by taking that imperfect step forward. You may not know exactly where you're going, but as long as you're moving, you're progressing. And with every step, you'll gain more clarity, more confidence, and more understanding of your own strengths and capabilities. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect moment and instead embrace the journey with all its messiness and unpredictability. There are always going to be setbacks, failures, and challenges that test your resolve. But it's important to remember that these moments are not signs of defeat. They are part of the process. Every successful person, every visionary, every innovator has faced moments of failure. What sets them apart is their willingness to keep going even when things don't go according to plan. They understand that failure is not permanent, it's a lesson, an opportunity for growth, and a stepping stone on the path to success. When you keep moving forward, even after a setback, you demonstrate resilience and a commitment to your goals. You show that you refuse to be defined by your failures. Instead, you choose to learn from them and use them as motivation to keep going. One of the hardest parts of moving forward is the fear of the unknown. We are often afraid of what lies ahead, whether it's the uncertainty of a new chapter in life, the risk of failure, or the fear of the challenges we may face. But fear is a natural part of growth. It is the fear of staying stagnant, the fear of never reaching our full potential that should motivate us to keep moving forward. The truth is, we can't predict every twist and turn of the road ahead, but we can choose to keep walking. We can choose to trust that even in the face of uncertainty, there is something valuable waiting for us. It might not be exactly what we expected, but it will always lead us to where we need to be. Sometimes the most difficult part of moving forward is simply the act of showing up. When everything feels overwhelming, when doubts cloud our minds, and when the weight of the world seems too much to bear, it's easy to retreat or to stop trying. But just showing up, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give, is a powerful act. It's a declaration that you are committed to your journey, that you are ready to face whatever comes your way, and that you will not let obstacles stop you from moving forward. Even when it feels like the world is pulling you back, your decision to show up and keep going is an act of defiance against stagnation. It's a commitment to yourself, your dreams, and your future. To keep moving forward, you have to trust in the process. Trust that every challenge, every setback, and every moment of doubt is part of your growth. Trust that every step, even if it feels like a small one, is bringing you closer to the life you want to create. Trust that the road ahead may not be easy, but it is leading you towards something meaningful and significant. And most importantly, trust yourself. Trust that you have the strength, the resilience, and the courage to continue, even when the path seems unclear. The journey is long, and there will be times when it feels like you can't go on. But remember, the only way to truly fail is to stop moving forward. Keep going one step at a time, and you'll get there.